Hi everyone, it's Ketty. Today I'd like to talk and share a bit more about easeful belly dancing. What makes your belly dancing feel easier, makes your body feel calmer, and how can we help ourselves to become more creative and relaxed as we dance and move? A big part of this is being receptive, and if you're receptive to the music and the sensations in your body, your dancing calms down and you go into a space where you really enjoy it rather than in that space where you're thinking about creating something very dynamic and large. You're actually coming back into what feels good, what's responsive and sensual, and that calms your nervous system down. So everything we perceive is through our senses. Everything we see, hear, taste, smell, and touch, and even intuit is processed through our nervous system. It's kind of like a gatekeeper. So our nervous system helps us maneuver through life, and it keeps every little sensory detail of our experiences so that we don't consciously have to think of them. But we can actually help ourselves by understanding the nervous system a little better. Now remember, our nervous system is constantly sifting through such huge amounts of data as we scan our environment and as we process our surroundings, and even as we go back into old patterns and thoughts. Our nervous system matches our, let's say, incoming sensory information with previously recorded data, and it kind of tries to match up relevant patterns. So that's why we often fall back into old patterns. So our nervous system scans the environment via our senses. We've got our past emotional memories, and we've also got our future anticipation. So when you're dancing, you really need to be somewhere in the middle, right there in the present moment, very receptive. And sometimes that will bring up past or emotional memories and sensations in the body. But it's quite important not to go into that space where you're anticipating too much and planning ahead, because often you'll race ahead of the music. Number one, your body won't really be in time with the music because you're racing it. You need to sit back, lay back and enjoy the music and allow it to guide you. Particularly the rhythms, they guide your feet and your stepping. The music and the melodies, they guide your more emotional responses. So what happens with our nervous system is that we have, two main things happening. We have our flight or fight response, and we also have something called the freeze response. So the amygdala, which is in the brain, it responds by sending signals to the hypothalamus, and that stimulates the autonomic nervous system. It's also called the ANS. Now, the autonomic nervous system consists of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system drives your flight or fight response, whilst the parasympathetic drives the freeze response. So let's say you're dancing and you become nervous, or you're not feeling confident in your movement and your brain starts racing ahead. You might go into flight or fight, which is kind of like an attack rather than a retreat. So what you're doing with flight or fight response is pushing your body harder, working more through the muscles rather than using gravity, which is natural and easy. So you're working more through your muscles, you're fighting through movement, you're pushing, you're using strong muscular impulses to drive a movement, and that all means that you're putting a lot of effort in. Not only that, but you're thinking about the next movement. So you might go into this flight or fight kind of feeling where your movements are very driven. When your movements are driven, it starts to feel a lot like doing an aerobics class or a kind of workout. That's the feeling you get when you're doing like an exercise class. So if you layer that feeling over the top of, say, a nice lyrical musical belly dance, you find that it could fight with the actual intention of what the music's all about. We tend to overthink and we also tend to do too much movement when we're in flight or fight response. However, what happens if the parasympathetic nervous system takes over and you freeze? That happens when you kind of are listening to the music, but you're not sure what to do. So instead of moving, you stop for a moment, and then you find you can't actually find the right movement. This is like the freeze response, when you don't know what to do, when you're unaware, or you might not even have those patterns in the body, so there's no reference. So basically, instead of working with the flight and fight response, which makes our dancing a lot more aggressive and full of effort and energy, what we sometimes do at the opposite end is freeze and don't bring enough movement into the dancing. Or after the music's done, we actually think, oh, I should have done this or that. So there is one other response, and that response is ease. So we have flight, fight, freeze, or ease. And with belly dancing, ease is really what we want. Because when your belly dancing is easeful, your nervous system is calm. And when you're dancing from a calm space, you can be more responsive and receptive. Now, when you become more receptive to the music, you find that you tune into things like the rhythm and the melodies, and the Arabic maqamat, for example, have certain emotional qualities and feelings that really come through because of the arrangement of the spaces between the notes or the tonality. And when you allow yourself to go into that space, your dancing is really in the moment, and that's where you're using the response of ease. So again, not flight or fight, which makes your dancing very aggressive and driven, and not freeze, which makes your body kind of clamp up and not express itself, but rather we go into ease. With ease, we have much better bodily functions such as breathing and heart rate, blood flow, circulation. All of that also becomes easier. So, because the breath is so important, it's really essential to breathe well while you're dancing. A great way of breathing is allowing your body to be nice and relaxed whilst your posture's upright and you're feeling earthed in the lower body. So it's kind of like a nice balance between being earthy, gravity, being light, levity, and allowing the breath to come through the body. If you want a nice, deep, natural breath, remember to breathe into your belly. And of course, with belly dancing, that really softens up the response with all the muscles and organs within the body. We also develop a deeper visceral sense. Now, the viscera are our organs deep in the body. So when you're dancing, just paying attention to how heavy and voluptuous and full your organs are feeling inside your body can help you feel more weighted and help you with your weight sensing. So that also gives you a feeling of calmness and ease. There's a real sensuality that comes through your dancing when you feel earthed. So that means feet on the ground. And some dancers find that they feel better dancing barefoot instead of having shoes on because of that lovely connection and contact with the ground. The next thing to be aware of is how your knees, thighs and hips are allowing you to transfer your weight from left to right, front to back, high to low. So if you have nice relaxed yet strong knees and nice strong energy in the thighs, you're really able to slide your weight over from left to right easily. Now there are two main types of weight transfer. One is a slow weight transfer. The slow weight transfer is very deep and voluptuous. It's an easy way to move your weight across, but you need to control it. And the other is a rapid weight transfer, when you take all the weight into one side of your body, and then you quickly push it fast and furious into the other side of the body. But if we're doing this in a way that's relaxing, we don't drive through the muscles. Rather, we simply allow our weight and gravity to do the work. So we take all our energy to one side of the body, decide where we want that movement to go, and then rapidly transfer the weight using gravity. So if you're using gravity to do a rapid weight shift, you find you're using less energy and you're more able to be responsive rather than reactive. So let's look at how it's different dancing through the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic. Just think the sympathetic is go, 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 whilst the parasympathetic kind of calms you down. So let's say you're in this space mentally where you're thinking about the music, you're planning choreographies in your head, you're driving your body, you're really trying hard to create movement by force. You're going to then be working through your sympathetic nervous system more than the parasympathetic. Your sympathetic nervous system is kind of like the gas pedal. It uses lots of energy, it builds up defense, it wants to protect you. It's actually a stress response and a survival response, and it comes with a shallow breath and maximum effort. So when you're not breathing properly, that will actually close down the calming response and make you kind of more on edge. So the first thing is to calm your body, to dance better, is to allow a rich, full breath to come through your body, especially your belly. Avoid shallow breathing. And also, instead of using up a lot of energy, think about ways you can conserve your energy by doing the very same movement. Usually that comes through breath and weight. Now, if you're moving more towards the parasympathetic nervous system, that's kind of like the brake pedal. So let's think you're in a car. Sympathetic nervous system is like the gas pedal, whilst the parasympathetic is like the brake pedal. What the parasympathetic nervous system does is conserves energy. It aids in growth and healing. It's a relaxation response. It comes with deep breath, and it makes you feel as though you're thriving, like you're really alive, but also relaxed. So that's the calming kind of movement that you do when you're moving, when you're dancing. There are a few things that can help with these kind of movements. One is to deep breathe, so you're breathing into your belly as you dance. One is to feel very responsive to your weight sensing, really aware of what's happening with your weight and how you're feeling internally, the sensations inside your body, and all the sensations around you, like how the body is moving through space, how you're sensing the space around you, how you're feeling within the body, and also how do you create a movement by conserving energy? How do you create a powerful movement while still conserving that strong source of energy within you without allowing that energy to be dispelled out of the body and gone forever? It's kind of like a harnessing of energy. The secret there is to use gravity. If you can understand gravity within your own body, how a deep connection to the ground, relaxed knees, strong thighs, real awareness of the fluidity of the big joints in your body will help these movements, then you'll be able to dance more like, say, the Egyptian ladies, who are very calm and relaxed as they dance, and there's a real sense of thriving, a sense of joy. So what we want basically is to breathe deeply, connect with gravity, and also understand and sense how it works with our own levity, our lightness, our buoyancy. And we want to conserve energy with the dance by being responsive and using our weight sensing. I hope this helps if you're a dancer who's looking to dance in a way that's easier, more easeful, more fluid. If you just go back to the basics and remember that to calm the system, you need to breathe deeply, connect with gravity, and really experience your weight sensing, these are 3 things that will really help you with your belly dancing. I'd also recommend watching videos of some of the golden era dancers and also some of the Egyptian ballady dancers, because they're very earthy, they're relaxed, and you can see in their dance they're thriving as they dance. It's very juicy. It's a weighted, gravity-rich dance. Thank you again for joining me. I hope this has been helpful. If you're interested in learning more about these kind of dances, I have a few products available. One is the 40 Arabic Rhythms CD, which can really help with your weight sensing, and also my A to Z training courses, as well as our Belly Soma classes, which are free on Facebook. Thanks again. Have a great week.